Hey there, my fellow investors. Welcome back to another video. Thanks very much for joining me. So a couple of months ago on my Fly with Trent channel, I posted a video that more or less said my plan to make a couple $1,000,000 by investing in real estate. And in that video, I laid out a plan of accumulating quite a number of rental houses. And since then, I've learned a great deal. And I have actually scrapped that plan. And in today, not the real estate investing plan, just the method by which I was going to do it. And in today's video, I want to share with you why I did that and why you might want to consider a different approach as well. So, the thesis here is no investing in single-family rental houses. So why is that? Well, first of all, as I'm sure you're already very well aware, prices of single-family houses are at an all-time high and affordability is at an all-time low. People can barely afford to buy these things unless you're wealthy and paying all cash. That makes producing cash flow nearly impossible. And if you can't have any cash flow, the only way to build any wealth is through price appreciation over time and debt paydown. At current interest rates, debt paydown is going to happen very, very slowly. And with affordability at the lowest it's ever been and prices at the highest they've ever been, I'm not sure how much room we've got for significant price appreciation over the next 3 to 5 years. So to me, that doesn't spell a very rosy picture. The other issue, or another issue with single family houses versus commercial real estate, is the way that they're valued. Single family houses are valued on what your neighbors' houses are valued at. They're not valued on how much income they generate. So if you're a good investor and you're able to come in and make changes and increase the income significantly, in commercial real estate, that works great for you, but unfortunately in single family houses, it does not. So that's not such a good thing either. Then there's the idea that I explained in my video that many people have done is, well, I'm going to build this portfolio of 20 doors or 30 doors or 40 doors. Well, guess what? If you've got 20 or 30 or 40 doors and each door is not producing very much cash flow, guess what you don't have? Very much cash flow. Guess what you do have? A whole lot of headaches and hassles from tenants moving in and moving out and complaining and leaky toilets and leaky roofs and leaky faucets and all the things that really I have no interest in dealing with. Another huge impediment, I think, to being successful in the single family housing market is that everybody and their dog, when they first start out, are trying to do it. And that's largely due to the extreme popularity of websites like biggerpockets.com. And another one is that we've got limited near-term ability to do a cash out refi and get some of your money back so that you can go reinvest that money in another asset and leverage your yield on a single family house. In the short term, that's going to be pretty much impossible to do. So all of that boils down to very slow wealth creation over time. So with that said, that's what we're going to cover in this video. So in just a minute or two, we're going to dive in and unpack those things a little bit more. And I'm going to make comparisons to what I have done and what I'm going to be doing in commercial real estate. All right, before we dive into the video, I have a small favor to ask you, and that is, would you please become a subscriber to this channel? I'm trying to grow this channel as a business, and when sponsors look at a channel, one of the very first things they look at is the number of subscribers, and according to YouTube analytics, over 70% of the people who watch the videos on a channel typically are not a subscriber. So if you would take just a moment right now and click that little subscribe button and maybe even consider clicking the bell, that would be an absolutely huge thank you for the content that I'm creating here for you. Thank you so very much. All right, so let's dive into this a little bit further. So unless you've been living under a rock, you know that prices have absolutely gone through the roof. Since COVID, the average increase across the US is somewhere in the order of 50% from pre-COVID prices. Now, last time I checked, paychecks didn't also go up by 50% over that same period of time, which has led to the huge affordability crisis that we have at this point in time. Most people simply can't afford a house. Plus, we have arguably a housing shortage, but due to constraints in labor, due to constraints in supplies, due to constraints in the way houses get built and the permits required, it's not easy to close that gap in a really short period of time. So I don't see any near-term big pop happening in single-family house prices. And then the whole issue of no cash flow. Unlike commercial real estate, where you can buy and have immediate cash flow, when you're buying a single-family house, if you're buying in the Midwest of the United States, which is typically the most likely market for cash flow, I made quite a few offers a number of months ago, and in every one of those deals, I was looking at maybe gross cash flow of $300 a month. And that's assuming that absolutely nothing goes wrong. Well, guess what? We live in the real world where stuff is going wrong all the time. Toilets are breaking, hot water tanks are breaking, roofs are leaking, foundations are cracking, sidewalks are cracking. There's always going to be another repair bill coming up. When you take all that into account, in all likelihood, you're actually going to have negative cash flow on your portfolio. And the bigger your portfolio, the bigger the negative cash flow is going to be. So you're going to have all these headaches, and you're going to be paying for the privilege of dealing with all of those headaches, which is of absolutely no interest to me. Now, let's compare that to triple net commercial real estate investing. So a couple of years ago, I bought a 15,000 square foot flex use light industrial multi-tenant building. That's kind of a mouthful. Basically, it was a warehouse that had 7 or 8 units, all side by side, and they were all pretty much the same. They had a roll-up door, they had a small office, and they had a workshop. So when we bought that place, it was very, very poorly managed. People who were there were not on triple net leases. They hadn't had rent increases in a long time. And so what's a triple net lease? Well, a triple net lease means that your tenant, not you, is responsible for taxes and maintenance on the building, maintenance and repairs, so that when something goes wrong, they're not going to call you to fix it. It's written into the lease. They have to pay to get those things repaired on their own in most cases. Of course, there could be exceptions depending upon how the lease is written. But if I'm going to build a portfolio of doors, I would much rather have a portfolio of triple net leases so that I can have more mailbox money and less hassle and less stress in my life. The other thing about commercial real estate is, unlike residential real estate, which is, as I mentioned earlier, been made super popular over the last couple of years, but like by websites like Bigger Pockets, there's not nearly as many new-ish investors doing smaller commercial real estate deals that are in the $1, $2, $3 million neighborhood. And all the big institutional money, they don't want to do deals that small because the cost of their due diligence cannot be recouped on a deal of that size. So there is definitely opportunity. Again, the building that I bought it. It was a listed building, not the MLS, but it was on LoopNet, and it was listed for $1.2 million, and it was in pretty rough shape cosmetically. So we bought the building, didn't have to do anything special to buy it, just called the broker, made an offer got accepted, we bought it. And then we spent about 2 years fixing it, turning the tenants over, getting them on triple net leases, making some adjustments and repairs to the building. If my memory serves correctly, I think we put about $120,000 into it. And then just 2 years later, we sold that building for $2 million in cash. Pretty significant gain over a very short period of time. Now, in hindsight, I wish that perhaps I hadn't have sold it, but at the time, life circumstances dictated that that was the best decision for us. Now, what we could have done was, when we increased the net operating income, which we were successful at doing, we could have refinanced that building because it would have been worth more, because commercial real estate is valued based upon the cash flow that it produces, not so much the comps that are down the street. Comps play a role, but cash flow plays a much larger role. So we probably could have refinanced the building, got all of our cash back out of it, and then kept it with a break even or even slightly smaller positive cash flow. This is actually something, so I also invest in mobile home parks, and over the past 3 years, we've been extremely successful with our limited partner investing. But we invest as a limited partner. So I'm not the one buying the park or managing the park or fixing the park. It's actually a buddy of mine. But we've been extremely successful with our investing there. And just recently, thanks to Corey making all these improvements to the park, he was able to refinance the parks. And we got 80% of our money back, but yet our ownership was not diluted and our distributions did not go down. So on an internal rate of return basis, we were through the roof. Is that possible with residential real estate over a 3-year period of time? Not a chance in hell. Is that possible with commercial real estate over a 3 or 4 year period of time, or 3 to 5 year period of time? Yes, absolutely. For example, I was watching a video from Tyler Cobble. He talks about commercial real estate investing on YouTube a little while ago, and he mentioned that he bought a storage facility that had a 58% occupancy rate. So that's a lot of vacant units. Within just 60 days, they had increased occupancy to 80%. So imagine what that did for their cash flow. And again, because commercial real estate is valued as a function of its cash flow, imagine what that did to the value of the asset. Now, that loan wouldn't have been seasoned yet, so they couldn't have refinanced it after just 2 months, but they probably could have refinanced it after 6 or maybe 12 months and got all of, or a significant portion of, their cash out of the asset, or they could have sold it at any time for substantially more than they paid for it. So that is, in a nutshell, why I'm no longer interested in buying single family houses. So here on the Invest with Trent channel, we're going to be talking a lot about commercial real estate deals. These are not going to be huge deals. These are not going to be deals that you couldn't do on your own. Now, you do have to have some money, or you have to have an understanding of the ability to raise money. But as I've mentioned in the prior video, and as I did over the last couple of years on the Fly with Trent channel, I'm going to be sharing everything that I learned and all of the milestones along my own journey as I figure all of this stuff out and have more success doing it. So if it's something that you're wanting to be able to do in your life, I would encourage that you subscribe to the channel and make sure that you keep on watching these videos, because there's going to be a lot of really good knowledge bombs coming your way. Now, if you have any questions for me about this particular video, or you just want to leave some feedback or what, an attaboy or what have you, I love reading comments. I read every single comment that people leave. If you ask a question, you will get an answer down in the comments. So please make sure and do that. And I'll see you in the next video in the not too distant future. Take care. Bye-bye.